everyone! It's so nice to see you again. Thank you for tuning in for Story Time with Chocolate Button. Our story for today is all about birds. Now, we studied a lot about birds last term, but we didn't get a chance, unfortunately, due to the schools having to be closed, to talk about something that a lot of birds do, and that is called migration. Now, migration is when birds, or animals in fact, fly or move a long way away from where they were born, and they do that in order to feed, so find special food for them to eat, or because it gets too cold or sometimes too hot, or because they're looking for a safe place to have their own babies when they're grown up. Okay, so this book is called Honk Honk, A Story of Migration, and on the front you can see some Canada geese. Look, there's let's count 1, 2, 3 Canada geese. You can probably see those at different times of year in or by the lakes in the parks near you. Right, and this book is by Mick Manning and Brita Granstrom. Oh, that's very exciting. And now let's just have a look and see who it is published by. It's another bird. Do you remember? I noticed yesterday. Look, Kingfisher. Kingfisher Publishers. Again, another bird publisher. Let's keep an eye out for some more bird publishers as we go. Right, Honk Honk. Honk honk. Look, there's a gosling. A gosling is a baby goose. Gosling. Honk Honk by Mick Manning and Brita Granstrom. Published by Kingfisher. Look, there's a little girl with a toy goose. Look, she likes birds as much as we do. Look at all the birds. She's got pictures of birds. She's drawn a painting of a bird. She's got birds on her bed. And she's got a toy goose. How lovely. A goose landed outside my window last night. A wild goose flying north. Honk honk. Can you say honk honk? That's it. Honk honk. I put my arms around her neck. I climbed on her back and she carried me away. Wow, imagine if you got to do that. Oh, look at her book. Her book is all about geese as well. We flew above the city lights, above railroads and highways, above lakes and fields. Wow, look, we might live in that city underneath there. There's a train and a road and some lakes and fields. Honk honk. Over my shoulder I saw a whole flock of wild geese stretching back on either side. My goose was the leader. Ooh. Which means my goose, her goose was at the very front. Oh, look. What a beautiful picture. Look, so there's her goose at the very front, and then all the other geese are flying behind in a V shape. Onk onk. Others joined us. We became a huge honking flock. Hundreds of wild geese all flying north. Oh my goodness, hundreds. Shall we see if we can count them? Just the pictures on this page. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 geese on this picture. And so there must be loads and loads and loads going behind and behind and behind. My goodness. Honk honk. North in wind and rain. Oh dear, She doesn't look very happy about being in the rain. Honk, honk, north by night and day. Honk, honk, north in sunshine and moonlight. Wow. When we rested, sentries stood guard. If one beady eye spotted a creeping fox, then, oh look, there's the fox. And there are all the geese having a rest, and then these are the sentries, the guards, they're keeping a lookout. So when the fox comes, then honk, 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 honk. We would take off with a whoosh of our goose wings. Honk, 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 honk. Look, they just let everyone know. It's like a warning. Honk, 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 honk. We flew on, always north. North, dodging the hunters and the hawks. Oh, well, we know what that bird is, don't we? Can you remember? We saw one racing a very fast sports car, didn't we? It was a very exciting lesson. Do you remember what it is? That's right, it's a peregrine falcon. I knew you'd remember, Gabriel. You love these birds. They're your favourite ones, aren't they? Wowee. North, over snowy mountains and icy rivers. Always north. Oh, look, there are some brown bears catching some salmon in the river. And there are some seagulls. And maybe they're foxes. And there's a moose. Gosh, they must not be in this country. Because we don't have bears and moose in this country, do we? Look at all those geese flying in the air. Look, these ones are flying in a V as well. Always flying in a V. We arrived at the nesting grounds. Oh, look, they're eating lots of grass. Honk, 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 honk. My wild goose met her friends, laid her eggs, and then look, there's another ellipsis, just like yesterday. Dun, dun, dun. My wild goose met her friends, laid her eggs. Dun, dun, dun. What's going to happen next? Oh my goodness! And hatched 5 fluffy goslings. Look! 1, 2, 3, 4, nearly out, 5. Wow, that's so nice, isn't it? 5 goslings, which means 5 baby geese. As the summer ripened, the goslings grew bigger and bigger and bigger. My goodness me, just in one summer. Honk, 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 honk. They learned to fly. They learned to speak, just like us, learning to speak. As the short summer came to an end, the ice began to creep back over the lake. The sun sank low in the sky. Winter was returning. Look at them all looking up. Uh-oh, there's the sun sinking in the sky. Honk, honk. Wild Goose stretched her wings. It was time to return south again. I climbed on the wild goose's back, and we took to the air. We circled higher and higher, calling all her family together. Honk, 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 honk. South, dodging the hunters and hawks, foxes and wolves. South, over electric cables and railway lines. South, in wind and rain, by night and day. Honk, honk, south to my window. Look, there it is. Oh, there's a little cat on the rooftops there. Goodbye and good luck, wild goose. She's saying that outside the window. Look, she's waving. Bye. Bye. Oh my goodness, back to bed. Oh, so here are some facts about geese. So look, you can see here are her hands and she's reading this book now. And it says wild geese, goose facts. Fact means that it's definitely true. Okay? Geese belong to the same bird family as ducks and swans, which makes sense, doesn't it? Because they've got beaks that are quite similar, their feet are quite similar, and they have the long neck of a swan, don't they? These birds are often called waterfowl because they live on or near water. Geese have large webbed feet to help them paddle and oily feathers to keep them dry and warm. This one says Canada Goose, as we said before. There are its webbed feet and there are its oily feathers. It's good being able to draw and then label your drawing like that, isn't it? Goose calls. Most geese make a loud honking sound, but some, like the white-fronted goose, cackle, which means they make a sort of sound. Others even bark like small noisy dogs. Living in pairs. Geese usually live in pairs, which means in twos, especially when they are nesting and raising their young. However, geese often join together for safety or when travelling. A group of geese is called a gaggle. So look, there you go, there's a gaggle of geese. It's a good collective noun, isn't it? Gaggle. Goose eggs. Geese usually lay 5 to 6 eggs. Goose eggs are different colours. Some are creamy white, some are blue, and some are greenish. Most are usually twice as big as a hen's egg. Oh my goodness, yeah, that is big. Kinds of goose. There are over 40 different kinds of wild goose. The Canada goose is the most common wild goose living in North America. It is also found in parts of Europe and Asia. The domesticated white goose, seen on many farms, is descended from the grey lag goose. Grey lag geese are really beautiful, kind of a grey colour, as you might imagine. Flying geese. On long journeys, most geese fly in lines, forming a big V shape in the sky, just like we spotted earlier in all the pictures. Different geese take it in turns to be the leader at the point of the V. Flying in a group in a V shape makes it easier for the geese to push through the air, so they don't get as tired and can fly more quickly and for longer. A V shape of flying geese is called a skein. Oh, I'd forgotten that. Wow, we're getting really good. Goose journeys. Most geese spend the summer in the far north, where they nest and rear their goslings, and fly south for the winter where the northern lands get too cold and harsh. This movement of birds and other animals at certain times of year is called migration, just like we said earlier. Other travellers. Butterflies, eels, salmon, and many kinds of birds migrate too. Every year, North American monarch butterflies migrate from Mexico and California as far north as Canada. The Arctic tern flies from the Arctic to the Antarctic, a distance of 12,000 kilometres. Oh my goodness! All the way, well, halfway around the world they fly. My goodness me. That's an eel, salmon, and then there's the monarch butterfly. We saw one of those in the garden once. I think Connie had one that she showed us, didn't she? Oh look, she's fallen asleep reading her book. Wowee. Should we go together? The end. Wow, what a beautiful and lovely book. I love books that tell us facts as well as a good story. It's really good, isn't it? So should we say a big thank you to Mick Manning, Brita Granstrom and Kingfisher Publishing for letting us have a read of their story during these very strange times where we miss our story time every single day. Well, that's enough from me today. If you would like to do something in your reading journal to do with geese and this lovely book, Honk Honk, Why don't you draw a bird? You could draw a Canada Goose if you wanted, and then label it with its different aspects. So you could label the beak, you could label the wings, the webbed feet, the oily feathers. Okay? And I would absolutely love to see these pictures, especially if you colour them in and make them really, really beautiful. You could do all sorts of different types of geese. If you wanted, you'd just have to look them up and find out a bit more about them using a bird book or something similar. Oh my goodness me, so much to do. Okay, I am looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow for some more story time with Chocolate Button. Bye! I'm going to fly off honking. Honk honk, honk honk, honk honk, honk honk.